my rank was, in the Army Air Corps was that of cadet, aviation cadet. I graduated from high school in 1937. I love as a young man. I loved aircraft. I made model aircraft, and both flying and solid type aircraft, and because I loved aircraft, I wanted to fly aircraft after making models of all kinds. It was very foreign, very difficult. As an African American man, to want to fly and to push the point of flying was difficult because they didn't have facilities for us to fly. I grew up in Florida. I grew up in the state of Florida, and I did 3 years of college at Tallahassee at Florida A&M College. Florida A&M College there in Tallahassee. My grandfather was the co-founder of Florida A&M, so therefore that gave me an to get into college. I worked my way through college, and therefore didn't have time for sports. And as I said, I had a private pilot's license. I asked about it and kept asking about it, and as a result, what I find I was drafted, and when Pearl Harbor happened, I was in the Army. Because of Pearl Harbor, my 1 year obligation I thought I had was then changed to be indefinite for the Army. Because of Pearl Harbor, my 1 year obligation I thought I had was then changed to be indefinite for the Army. And at that time, I find the black people, like it or not, were put in what's called the infantry, and when the infantry found I had a private pilot's license, I find, and that the Tuskegee experiment was being considered. My name was put into the hatch, and therefore I was allowed to transfer from the infantry to the Army Air Corps. I had not heard about it. I did not know. I did not know about the Tuskegee Airmen or the private pilot or the experimental program that was being considered for black young men. At that time, a female was not considered at all, but for male only. So my name was put in from the infantry, so I was transferred from the infantry to the Army Air Corps. I arrived in 1942. I was to be in class 43G. That means I would have graduated in June. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. June. I would have graduated in June had I continued my flying. Each cadet was assigned to a program that would last for 1 year. When I reported in June of 42, I find I would have graduated in June of 43. The Army Air Corps found out I was colorblind while I was in the training for being an aviation cadet. The flight surgeon passed down while we were sitting chatting one day, all on a group, passed a chart down for us to read the numbers in the chart for him, and I happened to read the wrong numbers, and he didn't think about it at that time, but he said, he called me in later on and he said, Al Miller, are you colorblind? I said, yes, sir. He said, you knew it? I said, yes, sir. How did you get into the Army Air Corps? I said, I memorized a chart that you passed beforehand. My buddy and I gave me the right numbers to respond to the wrong numbers. I'd see the color vision defect numbers. I said, but after I said I'd forgotten it, so therefore I gave you the numbers I could see naturally. And he said, well, I'm going to have to wash you out, which means they eliminate you from the program. He said, but I can't do it. So he sent me to Atlanta, Georgia, to the General Hospital in Atlanta, where they gave me the color test and said, yes, I was colorblind, and sent me back to Tuskegee. But by the time I became an aviation cadet, I also was a technical sergeant in the infantry. So therefore, when I came back, they took me from the cadet status, that absorbed me into Tuskegee, into the aviation cadet unit as supply sergeant for the unit, and I spent another year and a half there. Young college men who wanted to fly, but were accepted into aviation and accepted into the aviation experimental program to learn to fly. The prerequisite was that you have at least 2 years of college. They were tough on us because they wanted to be sure that those who came through did represent the best of the black young men they had. It was a joy to fly, and I wanted to fly, and it was the trainer aircraft that we used. They used for flying, teaching us to fly, and I loved every moment I was spending in the aircraft. I flew PT-13s for the Army Air Corps, and when they found out I was colorblind, they took me off of flying. Well, the top was a kite. The Cub, the PT-13 compared to the Cub was a powerhouse. It had 9 cylinders, and the Cub had only 4 cylinders, four-cylinder engine, 4-cylinder Continental engine, whereas the PT-13 was a 9-cylinder aircraft made here in Wichita. First of all, the Tuskegee Army Airfield was all black, so therefore the commanding officer wanted to be sure that people accepted us as being fully capable of being able to be trained, and he wasn't concerned that we were black. He was concerned that we were young men who wanted to fly, and he wanted to be sure we had a chance to fly, and that the people who taught us gave us equal chance to fly. I was not concerned with. I'd never been north as to live. I've been north as visiting, but not to live. So at Tuskegee, Alabama was not very far, because I'm going to school in Tallahassee, Florida, and Tuskegee Institute was one of our competitors in intramural sports. So therefore, I was not aware of any place else but to be a young man growing up in the South. Yes, we were allowed to go off base, but the commander reminded us that we were unique young men, and that police there in nearby the white police would if they could arrest anybody who did anything they thought was wrong. I was there when Eleanor Roosevelt visited us. I was there when she visited us and flew with a cadet, and also when Lena Horne visited us too there. I was there when she visited us. She was as beautiful as a picture, right. Beautiful woman. Came through and spent a day with us, right. Stayed in and came into what became the Air Force, U.S. Air Force. Stayed in supply, right. Because I had high AGCT score and had been a cadet where they suggested I become a commissioned officer, which I did, and I wound up at Fort Benning, Georgia, as a second lieutenant in the infantry. And when I finally retired, I retired as a captain in the U.S. Signal Corps. How the U.S. Air Corps, U.S. Air Force, from the Air Corps to the Air Force, and from the Air Force to the Army. I wound up in the Pacific area, in the areas of Hawaii. At that time, Hawaii was overseas. That was during the war. Well, Hawaii, while in Hawaii, I had cause to be on Oahu, the main island, Hawaii, the big island, Lahaina, and also one other island. Beautiful, and being in the armed forces in Hawaii was a pleasant experience. I left Hawaii now, back now to Fort Benning, Georgia. Fort Benning was an Army period, and it had everything in it that one needed to be a full soldier. Yeah. I was when they dropped the bomb on Japan. I was I was in Georgia. I was in Fort Benning, Georgia, and that ended the war. While in the infantry, because I had gone to Texas as a cadre person, and in Texas, in Austin, Texas, at the USO, I saw a young lady who I admired, and after a year of corresponding courtship, I came back to Texas for assignment, and I married her, and we lived together until she died. We were married, and we married, and we had 40 years together as persons, as a husband and wife. Because we found we couldn't have any children, we adopted her while we were stationed in Japan. Her father was an American dentist over there, and he impregnated her mother, and the family would not allow the mother to get married, marry him, because he had a family already back in the States. So when Helen and I were in Tokyo, we told the chaplain we couldn't have children, so we'd like to adopt a child. So he found this family and she was only 2 years old at the time, so we adopted her when she was just about 3 years old. Afro-American Japanese, and so she is a result of my being in Japan. My wife and I were in Japan for 3 years, in Tokyo and also in Yokohama. The cold part of Japan, Hokkaido is a cold island. Where Tokyo is the medium temperature, like Washington D.C. area. Spent three tours in Korea. And I spent 3 years in Germany, in Germany, and I finished the Air Force, the Army Air Corps, and the Air Force, and was now in the Army. Thing that I think that I'd like to pass on is that in the United States, it's possible to now to be a full person and not to be called a black person or to be called a Negro at the time, and being a full person in the United States makes you a full person, and the years I spent in the armed forces are fruitful years. And the 20 years I spent in there are years that have been fruitful for me, and that I help bring the United States from a biracial or biracial persons to being full persons, being a fully integrated nation, and therefore my daughter and the people her age group are able to be considered full Americans.